Are you ready? Are you ready for this? How's it going, everyone? Mega Mashers here, and I came across this article, and I'm just thinking, okay, based on how this article sounds and the way that it suddenly broke down into mad discussion, I'm thinking that we could possibly be seeing either a Hoopa Unbound suspect test or a Manaphy suspect test. This is fucking huge. And I just gotta say, like, this is fucking game breaking right now. I mean, just the other day, the OU viability ranking changed a little bit, where Hoopa Unbound and Manaphy found their way to the S rank. S rank is fucking gold. It is the cream of the creamy crop of OU. That means that these are Pokemon that have little to no notable flaws to get in the way of it performing its function. This is huge. And I mean, like, this just, wow. Wow. Like, deep breath here. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Up and down. Up and down. Okay, I'm not the fucking Karate Kid. I gotta stop doing that. Bad habit. Just check this out. Okay. So, the reason why I believe that this sounds like there's going to be an upcoming suspect test is because of this first line right here. Discussion between the OU Council are, at this point, focused on circulating issues amongst the community in regards to potential suspect applicable elements. And when I read that first line of dialogue, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be fucking huge. And when I scrolled down a little bit and seen Hoopa Unbound, I'm like, oh man, this kind of doesn't surprise me because so many people are caught up in the Hoopa Unbound hype. It's like, oh my god, this thing has such a deep move pool. This thing has base 160 attack, 170 special attack. This thing is just a fucking wall breaker. Yes, it shits on fucking stall teams. But let's not forget, whenever there's a chance for a stall team to happen, there's also a chance for a hyper offense team to happen. Hyper offense is a playable style too, you know. And hyper offense shits all over this fucker. Because this thing, base 80 speed, it's impressive for a wall breaker, but it's not impressive for a Pokemon is supposedly meant to function as a sweeper, because this thing, I shouldn't say function as a sweeper, as I said, function as a wall breaker, but just base 80 speed, when you stack that up against Pokemon that can clearly outspeed this thing, like, especially in this chance where it's hyper offense versus hyper offense, it's not going to stack up too well. And this thing is very susceptible, to not only all forms of entry hazards, but the fact that this thing just screams U-turn bait / fodder. I don't know. I mean, fuck. It's so hard. It's so hard to really, like, come up with a solid answer. I am literally on the fence, like 50-50. Like, one leg is on the banned side, one leg is on the not banned side. I literally can't decide. But that's my professional unbiased opinion. My complete biased opinion is I don't want this thing to be banned. I grew to liking this Pokemon. I mean, hell, it's one of my fucking main stars on my team that is on my channel art that you see on my channel. Like, there's no way I want this thing banned. No way. But you see, right here, it goes over the pros and the cons. For the pros, for example, ability to strongly impair defensive and defensively inclined balanced archetypes. That is true, because this thing, with base 160 and 170 for both offensive stats, is overpowered. And without any immediate setup defensively, this thing will rip holes in teams. And this thing packs a move pool deeper than the Pacific Ocean. That's crazy. It's just it's so mind-boggling. It really is. Coverage options provide it the necessary tools to pick and choose what it wants to support for itself or for teammates, with lack of definitive switch-ins to counteract it for these archetypes mentioned above. So that means that this thing can run pretty much anything that your team lacks. You lack fire-type coverage. Well, guess what? This bitch gets fire punch. You want ice-type coverage. Well, guess what? This fucker's got ice-type punch. Ice punch, not ice-type punch. Well, it's an ice-type. But anyways, fuck. Back on track here. Jeez. Just the point is, this thing has so many moves to choose from. Its unpredictability is fucking scary. It really is. And the last pros. Extremely high offensive presence coupled with its ability to hold an item to supplement it while supporting the secondary point above makes its implementation have a very low opportunity cost, having a Pokemon support the prowess equal to many of the higher caliber Pokemon. Now, the fact that this thing has a base stat total of 680, that is almost on par with Kyurem Black. Those two Pokemon are the equivalent of post-Mega evolutions. Having Pokemon like Hoopa Unbound on your team is pretty much the equivalent of having a free Mega on your team. That is ridiculously crazy. So, let's just go for the cons here right quick. Alright, Manaphy, I see. I'll get to you right quick. Matchup it excels at by itself can be strongly focused on which item it holds, with Life Orb having difficulty to contend with the majority of offense, while Choice Scarf is, as one example, mitigates its matchup with more defensive components. So basically, this thing is heavily dependent on having a held item for it to have any sort of function in battle. Well, I should say any sort of function. I mean, I'm sure it can do pretty well without an item, but just the thing of it is, you need to have an item to make it just that much more of a threat. Otherwise, it's like, okay, Hoopa Unbound without an item. Yeah, it's a fucking 21-foot tall terror. Yeah, it's scary, but you know, it's not a Pokemon's not that scary without an item. Prone to strong priority users, coupled with its frailer defensive side, this makes it susceptible, to many pursuit users and faster users of U-turn, thus creating a loss of momentum for the player utilizing Hoopa Unbound. That is true. While especially, this thing has base 130 special defense, meaning that this thing has a lot more opportunity to switch into special attacks, whereas base 60 physical defense, bro, any strong neutral hit on the physical side will take this fucker down. Like, just, I don't know, like, I feel like that to me, it's going to be one of the most difficult Pokemon to suspect, in my opinion, because this thing has, it's literally a roller coaster ride with this thing. This thing has so many ups, and they are fucking high. I'm talking real high. But it also has many downs, and the downs are fucking deep. So it's literally a hit and miss with this Pokemon. It's like, when it hits, it's going to hit hard. But when it misses, you're going to get fucked. Big time. And lastly, no defining resistances with vulnerability to all forms of entry hazards and status effects, which can prove to make getting Hoopa Unbound on the field easier said than done in many circumstances. That is also true, because if your opponent is smart and they can predict your Hoopa Unbound coming in, that means that they can simply bop you with a physical attack, and that's it. That's game for Hoopa Unbound. That is it. You just fucking wasted a Pokemon. So, I don't know. I am, like, professionally and unbiasedly, I'm on the fence with this one. But like I said, personally, with a little more bias, I don't want this thing to be banned because it's a part of a very special team that I created. and it represents Pokemon Central because I call it Team Central. Hashtag Team Central for life. You know the deal. Instagram that shit all over the place. So for Manaphy, Manaphy is a Pokemon with base 100s all across the board. That means that it doesn't lack in the defensive department either. Especially, that's especially good for a fucking sweeper because this thing has Tail Glow, which is a +3 special attack boost in one turn. And that's actually one of its pros right here. Tail Glow and its access to viable coverage options provide it the necessary power to certify itself as one of the premier wall breakers, forcing most answers, to it being heavily inclined offense, creating a large constraint in team building. To me, that Manaphy is a fucking scary setup Pokemon, but it's weak right off the bat. Like, without any setup, this thing, I do not want to say it's easy pickings. I do not want to say that, but oh man, this, with one Tail Glow, like, it's going to potentially sweep your team. And in just 2 turns, it can be a +6 for special attack. That is unbelievable. The presence of the first point paves the way to dictate the direction of team building and battling in what some players have deemed to be in an unhealthy direction for the ORAS OU metagame. That can be true. And if people are that scared shitless of Manaphy that they are forced to run checks to Manaphy because of how over-centralizing it is, I don't see any reason to argue against it. It's really a scary Pokemon. Like, I don't know. I mean, because of the fact that it has access to things such as Rain Dance and Hydration, meaning that this thing can run Tail Glow and Rain Dance, this thing cannot be statused. That means that essentially for all turns that there is, that the rain's on the field, wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's fucking crazy. Now let's see here. Has enough defensive prowess, yes, and support tools to mitigate its matchup against most would-be answers to it. Rain Dance coupled in with Hydration, as I just alluded to eliminate defensive components with ease and removing status ailments, lure options such as Psychic to remove Mega Venusaur and Amoonguss as 2 primary examples. Now here's the thing. Like, the fact that this thing with Hydration and Rain Dance means that any team that heavily relies on inducing statuses to win games, Hydration Rain Dance basically says, fuck you. It's not going to do shit. It's just going to set up in your face and fucking Scald Sweep you. Unless you're fucking, like, Storm Drain Gastrodon. But even still, this thing might pack Energy Ball. It might pack Ice Beam. Might pack Hidden Power Fire. Might pack Psychic. You kind of don't know what it's going to pack. This thing's crazy. It really is. Now, let's take a look at the cons here. And I agree with the cons as well. Weak immediate power without Tail Glow supplementing it, necessitating a boost to maintain its consistency. That means if this thing does not have a chance to boost up, it's going to be like a fish out of water. It's going to be fucking weak. And I mean real weak. Matchup against the tier can oftentimes move reliant. Did I even word that right? Hang on a sec. Anyways, move reliant in having the necessary tools along with a boost to break down certain checks to Manaphy, Ice, Bug, or Ghost coverage to break Celebi as one example. Now here's the thing. If this thing has Scald, Tail Glow, Rain Dance, and Energy Ball, Celebi outright counters it. Same with any other good solid grass type Pokemon. Basically, it has 4 move slot syndrome. So that means that it's going to have to give up a coverage move and it's going to get walled out by potentially, I do say potentially, by Pokemon in the OU tier whenever you're playing OU battles. And lastly, due to the lack of direct offense capacities in power and speed, Manaphy is certainly manageable as it's reflected by the amount of offense in the tier. Most balance often carry at least one Pokemon faster than Manaphy to check it reasonably well, such as Latios, Raikou, Tornado Styrian, etc. All those are legit. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence with this one too. I mean, Tail Glow, coupled with the fact that this is a very, very scary water type that I wouldn't say is a bulky water type, but it's bulky for a wall breaker. It's very bulky for a wall breaker. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm on the fence with this one. Completely unbiased and professional, I am on the fence with this one. Like I really can't decide whether or not I want this thing banned either. It's fucking it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy right now. Now, holy shit. They're actually talking about Shadow Tag too. All right, let's just fucking go to this shit right quick. So Shadow Tag is a crazy ability. It is busted as fuck. That means that this will trap any Pokemon and prevent them from switching out. Unless, of course, you're a Ghost type or you carry Shed Shell. Shed Shell acts as an item that in which you cannot be trapped by any means necessary. So let's take a look at the pros. Shadow Tag's concept of removing the element of switching allows the user to substantially remove counterplay, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, and freedom of choice, valued aspects of the game amongst many community members who have suggested Shadow Tag to be considered. Well, you guys remember what happened when Shadow Tag was released in 3rd generation? Wobbuffet got fucking banned to Ubers. And in 4th gen, it got banned to Ubers. And 5th gen, I wasn't heavily involved in 5th gen. I can't remember if it was still Ubers or what. I don't remember. I probably was. And another pro strongly discourages the use of passive defensive elements prone to the trapping abilities of Shadow Tag, with said defensive elements being key to the tier's natural response to the metagame. Like, this right here, like, Shadow Tag is one of the biggest counters and banes in the existence of defensive teams, meaning that Shadow Tag Gothitelle could switch in, trick you their choice item, therefore locking you into your non-attacking move, and just proceed to set up Calm Mind till it's +6, and that's it. It fucking sweeps you, and that's it. That's it! That's fucking GG right there. So let's just take a look at the cons here. Little to no usage in the tournament environment, displaying its lack of viability with consistency in higher level play outside of ladder. I don't know about that. I mean, I haven't seen Shadow Tag much in OU lately, but when I have, it was fucking annoying, and I got stomped out by it. It was crazy. Like, do not let this thing trick its choice item, otherwise it will 6-0 you. It will 6-0 you. There's no explanation. There's no other way to just... It's over. It is G fucking G. And lastly, Shadow Tag users, primarily Gothitelle and Wobbuffet, who are the viable offenders of Shadow Tag and OU, can be dead weight at times based on matchups and the presence of faster and stronger opposing forces. That is true, because if you trick your item, whether it be a choice item, to a Pokemon that is an offensive threat and doesn't really worry about having their items tricked away from them, it's going to fire off very powerful attacks and seriously cripple you, or even worse, kill you. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, wow. All 3 of these candidates that could be up for suspect, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And I do say could be up for suspect. We don't know for sure, but based on that first line of dialogue, and based on the amount of discussion that is going on in this thread, it could very well happen. Hoopa Unbound, Manaphy, or Shadow Tag, or all three of them could be suspect tested. Wow. So if that's the case, then question of the video, do you feel like that these Pokemon slash abilities should be up for suspect? Why or why not should Hoopa Unbound be suspected? Why or why not should Manaphy be suspected? And why or why not should Shadow Tag be suspected? Please leave your comments in the comment section down below, and I gotta get to the gym. So I hope you guys have a good one until then, and I shall see you guys next upload.